Hello, it's Julie from Spellbound again, and in the last video I showed you how to make the sunflowers that we're going to start as the base of our collage for our wonderful bouquet necklace. Now, to add more texture and more colour and more beads to our collage, we're going to also make some berries. Now, the berries are made in slightly different selection of beads. The colour's still tone, but I've moved up a size. So these are all made in size 10s, or 11s would work equally well. We're now moving on to size 8s. I want the berries to look like blackberries, all sort of plump and luscious. So I've gone for a red with an AB finish on, and this is a matte one which gives us a really lovely bloom like you get on a berry. I've got a silver lined purple which looks like a ripe one, and I've got this lovely electric purple because I really like this purple colour in with the flowers, and I think it will really lift the design, but I'm not sure whether the collage itself will take the big flowers in this purple. So if I add them in the seed beads, I've got them in the design anyway. I've got this colour in the design anyway. I think 3 colours make a nice bunch of berries. So let's get started. Now, I've got a piece of thread prepared. It's about 1.20 m long, and I need a keeper bead for it, and I'll just use a pearl. I'm going to put it about 15 centimetres from the end, as we would normally do. Now, the berries that you see, this sort of outer skin, is all made with size 8s. But inside, we've got some size 6s. And it doesn't matter really what colour these are, but they do peek through a little bit. So if you can choose something that's quite berry-like, black is fine, or a plain crystal, but I've gone for these lovely frosted silver line purple. So if they just peek through, it doesn't really matter. And we need a bead for the stems. Now, size 8 would be too chunky, so I've gone for a size 10. Again, 11 would be fine. And I've got them in this copper colour, which is a good sort of autumnal stick twig colour that matches in with what we're doing. Now, I'm not putting on any particular number, but I'm putting on about 3 centimetres worth. Now, we'll be able to take beads off this if it's too long, or we can add beads to it if it's too short, but about that long seems about right to start with. And we're going to start with this bottom berry here. The bottom berry, and all the berries have 2 size 6 seed beads inside. So that goes on. And then we're going to put some straps around the edge. Now, the first strap that goes on is 4 size 8 seed beads. And we go straight down through the size 6s. There we go. And I'm going to repeat. I'm going to put 4 straps on of this size. So that's 2. And that is 3. And 4. Now you can see we've got a lot of the core visible, but equally the top's becoming a little bit congested. So I'm going to put some smaller straps in between to cover the sides of the berry base, but not impinge on the top. So I'm going to use 3 seed beads. I'm going to go in with 3, and this is the next gap. 1, 2, 3. This needs to pull into this gap. And next gap along, we'll put in 3, 1, 2, 3. And have we got room in there? Just about. It doesn't matter if you haven't, don't overfill it. In fact, when I let it go, I think that's enough around the edge. But now we've got a very bare bottom. And we're going to solve that by adding a few extra beads. First of all, we're going to add one in the middle. So I'm going to look for a nice plump one. That one is ideal to go at the middle. And I'm going to go back down the main core. So I've reversed the direction of the needle. There we go. And so that pulls up as a stopper at the end, but there's still some beads showing and it all looks a bit regular. We want it to be a bit more, not random, but a bit more plump. So I'm going to come down through one of the 3 bead straps and I'm going to put on a seed bead and I'm going to pass through that single bead we've just put on. I'm going to put on a seed bead and I'm going to come down through the next 3 bead strap around. I don't want to go straight across because it would look too neat. So by coming around the corner, that's filled in some space without it looking too ordered and, I suppose for want of a better word, unnatural. I've just got to get rid of the tail because it caught up on a thread. So you can see it's come up here. That's one bead we put on through the anchor bead at the end, the single bead, put on another seed bead and down through the next 3. Now I'm going to wrap the thread under the first bead of, or the bottom bead of the next 4 bead strap, so I can come up the next 3 bead strap, and I'm going to put on a seed bead and see how that's looking at the top. You see that's filled that in quite nicely. I don't think I need another seed bead, but I could put one on and either come down a 4 bead strap or a 3 bead strap. I've only got 3 bead straps, so I'd have to come down a 4 bead strap. But I'm just going to go straight down that one to the base. I'm quite happy that that's covered that quite well. I'm just going to tighten everything up by passing back up the core again, and I'm going to go through that single bead on the top. I've just got to work out which one it is. It's that one, and back down the core. I'm coming back through 3 or 4 beads after it and pull firmly, and that's tightened everything up, and that's a nice complete berry. Really easy to do. Now we're going to put a little branch on and make another berry. Side branches don't want to be too long because otherwise it will clatter around. So I'm just going to put on 3 of the size 10 or 11 and 2 core beads, and that's going to be the position for our next berry. I'm going to make it exactly the same way. This time I'm going to use this shiny purple. Obviously I'm using seed beads to make berries, but you might have crystal beads you want to sew into your design, or you've got little motifs that you've got left over from a previous project. That's what the beauty of this technique is. You can use anything. So I've done just what we did to start off the other one. I've put on 2 core beads and I've come round and put 4 of the size 8 seed beads on 4 different straps, and that started to cover the base. Now I'm going to put those 3 bead straps in the gaps. So it's 3 beads and up through the core and pull it into that gap. Move to the next gap, 3 seed beads, pull it into that gap, and the next one is 3 seed beads and pull it into that gap. Now let's have a little look. You see this one's a bit more gappy. I think it's because it's shiny beads and shiny on a matte surface. It really shows the gap a bit more. So let's find the last pair of 4s. That's that one and that one. So I'm going to slip in another 3 bead strap in there. Just need to make sure I don't get the threads crossed, because then you end up with all sorts of lumps and bumps where you don't want them. Right, so that's pretty well covered around the sides, but we've still got this end to do. So find a nice plump bead, there we go, pop that on and back through the core. Make sure you don't catch that end seed bead of the stem, and then we need to find a 3 bead strap to pass up, put on a seed bead and through that extra one we've just put on in the middle and down the next 3 bead strap. Oh, I forgot the seed bead, didn't I? So let's go back. Rethread. And you can see I'm using a purple thread because it fits with the theme of the berries, and it's somewhat inevitable on designs like this. I just pick up that seed bead that I'd forgotten down through 3 bead strap, that the thread will show, so make it a thread that it doesn't matter if it shows. So where are we going? 1, 2, 3, those are the 3 seed beads on the next strap. I just need to make sure that thread hooks underneath that bottom bead of the 4 bead strap in between, otherwise you'll end up with gaps and puckers. And beadwork is nothing if not attention to detail. So thread on a seed bead through that centre one, and this time I will put on the extra one and down through the last 3 bead strap. That's filled that in nicely, and that's a really nice sort of plump berry. Now I need to do the same again as I did before, down through the core, through that single bead we put on to start covering the end, and back through the core. And this time I need to go back through the 3 little stem beads above this berry. And if we're going to add a 3rd berry like we've got here, I need to go a little bit further back up the main stem. And I'll do the same again. I'll add perhaps 3 seed beads for the stem, 2 beads for the core, and then I will complete this berry as I did the previous berry in purple and the one before that in pink. And I'll bring the needle up to the keeper bead. And here we have the one made previously, and you can see we're nearly there. I'm going to complete this, and I'm going to make another couple of clusters, perhaps some with 2 purple on, some with 2 pink on, and perhaps some just single berries. I'll probably make about half a dozen in total, and then I'll be ready to start planning out my finished collage. So I'll be back to you next time and we'll start playing with colours and shapes. Thank you for watching. See you soon.